Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Well, it is the end of another day. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to work out here in the new set. It's been a kind of a long day. I've been running around and, of course, dealing with the Dallas Cowboys. And, whew, tired. And it's raining, of course. And that's one of the other issues that I still have to deal with here is dealing with the rain. Actually, I've got a solution for this. It's going to take a bunch more work, but it's going to work out. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But it will, again, become really great here. And I appreciate all of the help that I've gotten. Tomorrow night, as a thank you, we'll be giving away some more of our racks to you guys and cutting boards, because that's what we do. We try to thank everybody for all the help. So after the Dallas Cowboys catching a whole lot of grief, a lot for me right here, I've been talking smack and saying that the Cowboys have been doing what they always do, which is nothing when it comes to free agency, usually waiting till the second or third week before they start doing anything in free agency. Well, they're trying to make some moves. You know, the Cowboys are very much risk averse. They would rather spend their money over and get a lot of different guys than to try and focus in on one or two. The only times that you've seen the Cowboys focus in on, a big name player would be Brandon Carr. I think we signed him to a 5-year, $54 million contract. And Greg Hardy, they took a chance on him on a 1-year, $13 million deal where he sat out 4 games for a league suspension, of course, for issues that he had from the previous year. Since that time, the Cowboys have been kind of, I don't want to denigrate any players. Understand, to even get on an NFL team or field, I think about in high school when we played. Between my junior year and senior year, I would say we had, which actually was a lot, about 8 guys that played college football. And of those 8 guys, none of them went on to the NFL. And I think about when I went to JMU, I only remember Gary Clark and Charles Haley making an impact in the NFL. There's some guys that were on a roster for, a little bit of time, but never made the field. So to make the NFL is huge. And I'm not trying to belittle any of them. But once you get there, of course, there's different tiers of where guys are. You've got guys that are grown-ass men and guys that are still trying to find their way or make a name for themselves. Well, the Cowboys like to deal with those guys that are trying to make a name for themselves, or value picks, as Stephen Jones would say. Well, the Cowboys are true to their nature. They're not going to spend a whole lot of money in free agency. At least they are looking at the biggest weakness we had, which was stopping the run. Our run defense was atrocious. Now, of course, we got Carlos Watkins from the Texans. Guy's pretty good with the run stopping and stuff. We'll see how he does. At least the good thing is these guys aren't 30-somethings. We got Brent Urban. Maybe he'll be an urban legend. Canadian. So, I'm sure him and the Canadian bulldozer can reminisce about things that are Canadian. And then we got Terrell Basham, an outside linebacker from the Jets. Thing I like about Basham, again, another young guy, but 3 forced fumbles. At least I think the philosophy is, if we get some bodies in all of the spots that we're weak on, if we get a rotation of guys for the defensive line, I would imagine that we'll start looking at some cornerbacks next, and maybe a safety, or maybe the plan is to move Jordan Lewis to safety. I don't know. Xavier Woods hasn't signed with anybody yet, and I don't know if the Cowboys are planning on bringing him back or not. I'm sorry for yawning so much. I'm just tired. I've been running, and I'm trying to build. There's a couple of new things that I'm trying to get made in the shop, and I just got finished in there, and it's just been, I'm just worn out. But I've got something that's really, really cool because my man Clarence, missing in action, asked me about, and I think I've come up with a solution for it. Something that's, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. It's going to be something, and I can do multiple things with it, in fact. But anyway, be that as it may. I think they're looking at trying to say, okay, let's get some warm bodies in here. I still am miffed about Joe Thomas signing with the Texans for $2 million. Sorry, that would have been $2 million well spent, even if it was $2.5 million. But I bet you we'll try and bring in a linebacker. We'll look at a safety and probably a cornerback. So going into the draft, they can say, okay, best player available. Let's see if we can find some upgrades for some of these positions. And if it's not there, don't force it. Because that led to Taco Charlton. Going into that draft, 2017, this was before D-Law became D-Law. D-Law had a 2-game suspension for PEDs. He had 1 sack on the season and had back surgery. And so you were looking at that and saying, we don't know that much about this guy because his first 2 years, he had 7 sacks, I think, 1 year, and he had the 2 in the playoffs against the Lions his rookie year, and he was injured. So you weren't counting on him to be a pass rusher. You had guys like Tyrone Crawford, who was your big money guy, at defensive end, but we looked and we said, you ain't got nobody to rush the quarterback. And in that draft, they said, okay, let's grab somebody. Sadly, it wasn't TJ Watt. We grabbed Taco, who was raw, but he had the length that they like. See, they like tall, lean guys. You know what? I like a guy that's fast. But, man, I'm not crazy about tall because when you're tall, people can get underneath you. When you're a little bit lower, it's just, but anyway. So they reached for Taco because the edge rushers were rushing off the board. And they didn't like TJ Watt because he didn't have the length that they liked. So they went with Taco. Taco and pretty much that whole draft was not real good for the Cowboys. Now, at least we still have Jordan Lewis is still on the team from that. But other than that, Awuzi's gone. Xavier Woods should be gone. Brian Switzer is gone. Taco's gone. And I can't remember who else was in there. So it wasn't really that important. So, the Cowboys don't want to reach in the draft. And that's why they're trying to plug the holes with at least warm bodies. Now, I'll say this much. I don't know what happened with Mike Nolan. I thought Mike Nolan was going to be better than what he was. I think it was the perfect storm to be bad. Between trying to go 3-4-4-3 hybrid, no OTAs, very short training camp, no preseason, and a bunch of bad attitudes, it was just not going to work. At least with Dan Quinn, he's got a pedigree. He can look and say, you see that? I got a ring. I was in 2 other ones. I had the Legion of Boom. And that right there may get these guys to fall in line. That alone should be an improvement. I don't want to sell false hope and say, we're going to be top 10 defense. I'm not going to bullshit you. We got a lot of work to do. And we're going to need to get some more players in the draft to get this thing together. But I'm hoping still that we get that one technique guy and that safety If you do that with the rotation you have, we can be a competent defense and be enough that our offense can take control. So with that being said, I got to go out here in the rain, turn off the lights and the fire. But at least this part's covered. And well, this will be covered here soon too. All right, y'all. Hope you have a great night. Be safe, and at least the Cowboys are alive, showing signs of life. I'll see you guys in the morning.